the profit booking did deepen. We saw that the Sensex closed with a cutoff of nearly 300 points, and Nifty also slipped below that 25,000 level. India Wix, that jumped about 4%, so that indicates that there is some cautiousness which is prevailing in the markets as well. But yes, the major support that came in, that was your mid-cap and small-cap indices. They continued to outperform the benchmarks even today as well. Among sectors, we saw that the IT stocks were the worst performers, given that we had in the morning Moody's downgrade of US government's credit rating. So we can see some of the IT stocks also in the top Nifty 50 losers list. Other than that, we can see Nifty PSU Bank and Nifty Realty Index. They, on the other hand, performed well, and they outperformed the benchmark indices as well. So you're in a very directionalist market and stock-specific market, so to say, because we had companies like Divi's Lab, Delivery, all of them which reacted well to their Q4 results.
Absolutely, and a lot of mid caps did well in trade, and the markets today was slightly range bound, as you mentioned, and also some bit of profit taking in some segments. But talking about the trade war tensions, obviously that is probably keeping investors nervous across the globe, and especially after the comments from the Japanese Prime Minister relating to trade, relating to the interest rates, were slightly concerning. Now, talking about the advance decline ratio, that was broadly 2:1. Graphite stocks did well. So, the likes of HEG Graphite moving nearly 10 to 15% in trade after one of the Japanese companies shut their facilities in Malaysia as well as China because of rising cost. And that accounted for a 30% capacity. So, graphite stocks were doing well. Also, what was doing well is APL Limited as well as Caplin Point. Both these pharma names up nearly 10 to 15%. What was not doing well is Credit Access Grameen Post. The number stock was down 7%. Apar Industries and GMR Airports also witnessed profit taking, both of these stocks down 5% each. But what did do well is Divi's Laboratories Post. The number stock was up 5%, new 52-week high. BSC, APL Apollo and Max Financial Services also at a multi-year high level. Both of these stocks, specifically BSC and MFSL, were doing good on the back of strong volumes.
Okay. Coming to some of the large cap space, if you look at the top Nifty 50 gainers, that includes the likes of Bajaj Auto with about 4% gains. The company did raise about 5,400 crore rupees loan to fund the KTM AG's insolvency plan. So we could see some sentimental reaction which is playing out on the counter. Other than that, we can see Shriram Finance with about 2% gains. Power Grid also doing well ahead of its Q4 results with about 1.2% gain. Hero MotoCorp, the company plans to launch 2 new Vida electric scooters by July. So we can see the stock is gaining in today's trading session. On the other hand, if you look at from the down up, your top losers on the Nifty 50, that includes the likes of Eternal with about 3% cut. The stock is seeing a little bit of cool off given the 3 days of constant buying we saw. Other than that, Grasim not doing well with about 2.7% cut ahead of its Q4 results. It will be reporting its March quarter performance on Thursday this week itself. So watch out for those numbers. Other than that, as I was talking about, that IT stocks also did suffer some decline. So we can see the likes of Infosys and TCS seeing a cut of about 1 to 1.5% as well. But coming to Yatin, you were talking about delivery and some of the stocks which were doing well in today's trading session. Delivery shares that jumped about 14%, settled with about 9% gains or so after we saw that the company's turnaround in fourth quarter. It did post a profit of 73 crore rupees as against a loss of 69 crore rupees last year. And we also saw that the revenue has saw a modest bump up of about 6% year on year. Operationally too, the company reported good set of numbers. We saw EBITDA nearly tripled and margins also saw over 300 basis points expansion in the March quarter. So all in all, a very, all-round performance in the fourth quarter. Now, what the brokerages are saying, Nuvama has maintained a buy call on the counter and they have hiked the target price to about 430 rupees per share. They believe that the company is well placed to benefit from its potential acquisition of Ecom Express, as it will help consolidate its position in the express parcel department as well. Nuvama also raised its EBITDA estimates by about 8% and 13% for FY26 to 27 as well. And Goldman Sachs also shared a neutral rating and shared a target price of 325 rupees per share, as they believe that since the company's margins gains are being led by partial truckload segment, its sustained improvement in this segment will drive the stock performance going ahead as well. Given great stock move for delivery, but the stock continues to remain below its IPO price. But given that how Street has been rewarding good earnings, that good days could be ahead for delivery as well.
Actually, if you look at delivery clearly, as you mentioned, a turnaround quarter after several quarters of losses, we have seen profits, and finally the margins also, came in almost above 5%. The expectation was 2.5, 3%. So the margin performance was quite strong, Lavisha, because of which the stock saw 10% plus kind of a rally, becoming the top FNO gainer in trade today.
Yeah. Let's talk about another stock in focus, that is your NCC. That stock jumped up to 4% after it registered a good set of March quarter results as well. In fact, the stock was trading at the highest level which was seen in over 3 months. So that's a good thing. The company did see profit rise about 6% year on year in the fourth quarter, but revenue dropped about by 5% due to slow execution in water projects and smart meter orders. Now, the street has largely given a thumbs up to the stock, given it's achieved its highest ever annual order inflow for FY25. But the execution lag, that is something that has kept experts cautious on the counter. For instance, CLSA did share an outperform rating, but it cut its target price cut its target price to about 315 rupees per share. It also cut its EPS targets for FY26 to 27 as well due to slow pickup in execution. On the other hand, Nuvama also reduced its estimates for FY26 and FY27 EPS estimates, as they mentioned that the management did accept the fact that the execution could have been better in the March quarter. Yet then, brokerages are quite cautious on the counter due to weak guidance. But the government's capex push that we are all eyeing out, that could keep investors excited from here on.
Yes, and most importantly, what people liked in the NCC's results is the 30% kind of a jump sequentially in the order book, which is now surpassed the 70,000 crore mark. So I think instead of earnings, markets are probably looking at the order book, which has been coming in strong, especially with irrigation and water related projects making the order books well.
Yeah, all right. Let's take another stock in focus, that is your Credit Access Grameen, since we've been talking about March quarter results. So Credit Access Grameen, the stock did not react well because we saw that the net profit fell sharply by about 88% due to conservative provisioning and higher write-offs. And we saw that the lender's net interest income, which is your NII, also declined by about 5%. Now, the total write-off for the fourth quarter also stood about 518 crore rupees per share, which included 480 crore rupees in accelerated write-offs. And as a result, we saw that the asset quality saw a sharp deterioration to about 5% from 1.1% last year. What brokerages are saying, Goldman Sachs have given out a sell rating on the counter, and CLSA has also downgraded its rating on the counter to underperform with a target price of 1,050 rupees per share. Now, what the brokerage expects is that the company's credit cost is expected to remain elevated due to certain challenges in Karnataka, over-leveraging issues, and of course the microfinance guardrails which have come in. Yet, given that the MFI stress, this doesn't come as a big surprise that Credit Access Grameen has been seeing. And the management has also indicated that there will be another 6 months of stress. So a very cautious period for all the MFI lenders coming ahead.
Yes. Yes, I think last quarter numbers are also not that great, Lavisha, and this quarter also nothing good. Obviously, brokerages have maintained target prices. Some of them might have increased it also, but yes, stock under pressure clearly, as the market still believes that the next 2-3 quarters will be crucial, especially with the MFI or the microfinance business and its asset quality. But moving from Credit Access Grameen to defense stocks, and today the stock of Hindustan Aeronautics dipped 3% in trade despite Friday's conference call, which the analyst community attended. Many of the analysts, have increased the target price. However, the stock was under pressure because Morgan Stanley has downgraded the stock of Hindustan Aeronautics to an equal weight. Target, however, has been kept slightly higher than the market price to a level of 5092, which is, almost 100 rupees higher than the current market price. Now, the reason why Morgan Stanley believes is, the fact that the valuations are now looking slightly expensive. However, the margin new order book outlook is quite strong. But one catch wherein the management disappointed was the earnings guidance, which is the revenue guidance, which was kept at a 10 to 12% growth. However, the market was expecting a higher number, but management said that over the period of next 2 quarters, they will review or would like to review the revenue guidance which was expected slightly higher than 12 to 15%. So 8 to 10% kind of revenue growth guidance was slightly disappointing. Stock is now trading at 35 times FY27 earnings, which according to Morgan Stanley has led to a downgrade in stock, and probably the reason why the stock saw some profit taking. In fact, most of the defense stocks after the 7-8 day run up have seen profit taking in trade.
That's right. Nifty defense theme after last week's 13% gain is seeing quite a cool off today in today's trading session as well. But yes, all right. With that, we've come to an end of this edition of Closing Bell. It's a wrap from Yatin and me, and thank you for watching. Good morning, hello, and welcome to Moneycontrol's live stream. You're tuned into a fresh new edition of Opening Bell with me, Lavisha Darad. Well, we are back with a fresh week, and after the consolidation we did see on Friday, the GIFT Nifty is hinting at a very quiet start today for Indian markets. But we'll watch out if bulls can keep control this week, given that last week both the headline indices jumped up to 4%. Mid caps were also outperforming, and the flows picture that continues to remain strong. Now, if you look at the global screen, US stock futures that slid overnight after Moody's credit rating downgrade. Moody's basically cautioned against the economic slowdown and rising federal government's deficit in the US, and that's why that led to a credit rating downgrade for the US markets. On the other hand, if you look at the Asian Pacific markets, that also opened on a largely lower note. We saw that the Japan's Nikkei 225 slipped 0.5%, while Hang Seng and Chinese markets also fell by nearly 1% or so. If we come back to home, which is India, stock-specific action that will continue amidst this March quarter earnings season. We have Hindustan Aeronautics, Zentek, all of them reacting to its Q4 results, and some more which will also report their Q4 figures today and throughout the week as well. We'll also be tracking Commerce Minister's visit to the US. The tariff contours between India and US is something we'll watch out for this entire week as well, because social media posts have been hinting that India has proposed almost no tariffs, which is your zero tariffs, so to speak. But we'll track the developments here on as well, because that will set the tone for the rest of the trade as well. Now, like usual, keep posting your stock-related queries on our live feed, and we'll take them up shortly as well. Now, let's quickly take a look at the top headlines, Sisa. US futures fell after